baseball not always the best team wins, but you got to still go out and get it done.
Hello everyone, welcome into the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of the Press Box. We are here to bring you the most comprehensive coverage of youth and high school baseball across the Midwest. Press Box, presented by Kilo Gear. Train smarter, perform stronger. Doctor-designed weighted gear trusted by baseball athletes to improve speed, power, and overall performance. With proven performance gains and a 30% increase in speed, 25% increase in power, and a 15% better recovery rate. With the off-season right around the corner, folks, get your Kilo Gear and begin to train smarter. Go to the youthbaseballmidwest.com, youthbaseballmidwest.com. Click on the Kilo Gear tab. All the information is there. Read about it. Get yourself going. I'm wearing my Kilo Gear today. There it is. Kilo Gear right there. I'm wearing it. I do use the promo code YBM10. It gets you 10% off of your purchase and get started. Hey, it's right around the corner. How are you going to get bigger, stronger, faster? Kilo Gear. That's the answer. Folks, if you want to follow us on our social media, please do so. On X, you can find us at YBM_cast. On IG, Facebook, and TikTok at Youth Baseball Midwest. All right. You know, it's here we are back at it. And one of the things we're here with the press box for, folks, is this is the first year that we are covering fall high school baseball. Yep, it's here. And we're going to work to bring you coverage of the programs, because most of them, folks, are Class 1, 2, and a handful, well, it's more than a handful, probably 3 handfuls of Class 3 programs. Well, that's true. And most of these schools don't have football programs. They play baseball in the fall. And we've got some really high-level baseball programs playing in the fall. And for us, one of the things that we're working towards and I'm really enjoying, and what we're able to do working with the Missouri High School Baseball Coaches Association. Brian Harmon is the executive director, and he's been great. And we are going to work towards developing a fall high school state championship tournament. What that looks like just yet, we're working on it. We may even try and work to get a championship game this year. It's a goal. I don't know. We'll see. But you've got 6 classes of baseball, and in the spring, of course, the bigger schools dominate a lot of the headlines. Fair or not. It's just kind of the way it happens. And but we don't want that. We want to be able to cover more of these smaller schools. It's hard to do so. We get spread out quite a bit. But one of the things that we can do in the fall is really give a lot of coverage to these smaller schools, and that's going to be our goal here as we begin the fall season. Starting with Friday, just found this out, and it's fortunate because we've got some interviews coming up. I'll get to that in just a second. I was talking to one of the coaches who's going to be there. We're heading down to Ozark, Missouri, at the Ozark Mountain Sports Complex. There is an opening weekend event, tournament, whatever you want. It's baseball games with some of the premier Class 1, 2, and 3 schools and a team out of Oklahoma they've done this every year for quite some time. And I found this out. It had been fun to try and get some live streaming of this event, but unfortunately, I'm going to go down and cover it at Ozark. It's the Ozark Mountain Sports Complex opening weekend. There'll be Purdy, St. Elizabeth, Licking. We also have Ellington, Southwest Washburn, Silo High School from Oklahoma, and a few others. I know I'm probably missing a couple. Don't mean to, but it's going to be an interesting event. We're going to take a trip down there, and we're going to be there on Friday because, of course, on Saturday, don't miss it. If you want to come out if you're watching locally, we're going to be at ABC Ballpark for our 6th annual Timmy Zell Cops versus Kids Home Run Derby presented by St. Louis Youth Sports Outreach. Billy has done a great job with that. Always fun to go out there. We're going to be there Saturday. So we got a crazy weekend coming up. Next Tuesday will be the opening live podcast. We're going to preview the upcoming podcast season with the Hitting Zone, Baseball 101, Keep Climbing, Youth Baseball Talk. Dan Seddon is coming on to host that show. I'm looking forward to that. We got our new baseball talk show over in Southern Illinois with Carl Lang. Myself doing Show Me Baseball Talk, Mitch Thomas, Dave Wiggins, Brett Graves. Everybody's going to be there. That's going to be live Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk about what's going on, so make sure you're tuned in. We're excited. We're very excited about the upcoming season. We also have some new merch coming, right, Drew? We've been working on this. We got our new merch store coming up. It's going to be opened on, hopefully, our goal is September 1. We'll keep you posted. And we'll probably preview some of the merch and whatnot and what it looks like on September 1st and the live show. If you want to support Youth Baseball Midwest, this is a great way to do it. We appreciate it. We got another way to support us is through our clubhouse. We're putting together our exclusive content. We got early content like this here. You'll be able to get this. This will be posted. Say, you're watching this here at 7 p.m., but when we put it up, boom, every member of the clubhouse will get early access to everything we post, no matter when it is. If there's a Friday show, for say like, I forget where it's going to be, but it's a Friday show. We get it recorded, it's posted on, and we put it up on the channel on a Tuesday. As a clubhouse member, you'll have access to that before Friday comes. So that's going to be a huge perk for our clubhouse members. Early access to all the podcasts. We're looking forward to that as well. So without further ado, we're going to get into some fall ball. We got some great stuff coming up. You probably saw our early season rankings. We're going to be talking Class 1. We were hoping to get the head coach, David Mathis, from Cooter on the show today. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. I'm sorry, Coach Mathis. We definitely want to get you on the show and look forward to doing that in the future because I think Cooter here in the fall, and we put out, and again, it's about learning more and more information about teams. And I'll tell you, Cooter could be the best Class 1 team in the state, folks. Could be. We sent out a poll in partnership with the Missouri High School Baseball Coaches Association, and Cooter has got all but one of their guys returning. They lost to North Shelby 2-1 in the in extras in the quarters, and they got all those guys coming back along with a couple of young all-state guys in Jaden Mathis and Jackson Brooks. And they got a coach said they got a strong freshman class, sophomore, junior. I think Cooter's going to be really tough for the next few years. I'm looking forward to seeing them here in the fall, get a preview of what's coming in the spring because they will compete to get back to the Final Four. And I think they could be one of the teams to beat here as we go through this, because I had St. Elizabeth and Wheatland ahead of Wheatland. I don't know yet. St. Elizabeth, until you beat the champ, I know they lost to Northland Christian in the state championship game, but they were there again, and they're going to have a quality team again. And we got a chance to talk with Coach Heckemeyer. And so let's jump into that conversation with the St. Elizabeth head coach. All right, folks, we're joined here by Caleb Heckemeyer, head coach, St. Elizabeth High School. Coach, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Folks, if you don't know, this has probably been the most dominant program in the state of Missouri over the last 8 years, 10 years, regardless of class. I know it sounds strange, because they are class 1, but 8, what is it? 5 state championships in 8 years, correct?
4 state championships, 7 state Final Four appearances in 8 years.
It's an impressive run, Coach.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good athletes come through here in the last 8 years.
And we saw you guys were in the state finals last year, second place. Northland Christian got you. But as we're looking at this and we're moving forward, we're going to start talking first about fall baseball, scheduling, those types of things. Do you guys play football at St. Elizabeth?
We do not. We do not have football. We're too small for that.
So why is fall baseball important, and, how does it help you guys?
It just kind of gets guys more of an opportunity to show what they got, and also to prepare guys for the spring season. Just as a team, we get to figure out which pieces needs to go where, get extra reps. It just helps our program out a lot tremendously.
Coach, you put a lot of guys through. We actually saw Eli Kimna over the summer in the state championships for American Legion Baseball. He was playing for Post 5 over at Jeff City. My goodness, that young man can pitch.
Yeah, he's pitched a lot better over the summer after that state championship game, but he's a great kid, great pitcher. Been for our program. And I just hope him the best where he's at Missouri Southern now.
He did mention to me after that, we were talking at state championships. He says, "Yeah, I pitched a lot better than I did in that game." You could tell it was still bugged him.
Yeah, it still gets him a little bit, but it happens.
It does. It happens to everybody. But you've got 2 guys coming back from last year's team, put some numbers in, whatnot. Kyson Green, Jacob Holtmeyer. Talk to us about how those 2 guys are going to be a catalyst for a lot of these young players coming up.
And Kyson Green, he's been a big part since his freshman year. He was All-Stater as a freshman. And then this year he's just been one of our big batters in our lineup, hit behind our cleanup spot. Get a lot of RBIs that way for him. He's just been one of those guys that's always going to give us a good at-bat. Defensively, he's a solid glove. And then Jacob Holtmeyer got more time this year, and he had some big moments for us. Some nice hits, also defensively, good corner outfielder guy for us. And those 2 are going to take on the senior leadership role for us, and hopefully got our guys to get ready for spring into another Final Four.
That's the goal, right?
That is the goal.
When you talk to these guys, and how aware are a lot of these players about the tradition at this point now and all the success and their mindset coming into the program?
They all right now, they just think we're always going to be going. We got the ability, we got the guys to do it. Like going in the fall, that's what we go. I ask them every fall season, who here thinks we can make it back to Final Four? And this year, pretty much everyone raised their hands and says, we have a shot. And that's what I instill in our guys is you believe we can do it. And so these upperclassmen got to take that leadership role and keep it going for us.
Besides those two guys, and when I'm looking at your roster from last year to this year, pitching I think is going to be the big key for you guys. Who's going to step up? Do you have some of those guys that were juniors last year that you're going to have to see need to step up on the bump this year, Coach?
Yeah, we got Jay Strump. He pitched a little bit of varsity time. We just were senior loaded heavy last year for pitchers, but Jace has been a good pitcher. He's got an arsenal behind him, so he's got like 5 or 6 different pitches he's going to use. And then we got a couple juniors now that can pitch well as well. We don't have the flamethrowers of 85 to 90 again, but these guys know how to pitch. They still kind of throw hard, and even got some younger guys that'll be able to fill in some holes too. We're just not going to be having that upper 80 guy, but our guys know how to pitch.
There you go. There you go. So who are some of the underclassmen that we're going to be getting to know this year, especially in this fall?
Well, this fall we got Cooper Kimna. He kind of hurt his arm a little bit last spring where he couldn't pitch, but he's been pitching well over the summer and now coming in the fall. Hopefully continues it. Another Keaton Deeroff, but he is injured right now. Won't get a pitch hole out this fall. Charlie Rowden, he's a sophomore. He's going to throw strikes. He's not going to overpower you, but he locates well and he uses his defense. And that's the same with Easton Orschlager, another junior. We got some guys that are just going to throw strikes. They're going to make you hit it and try to beat us. And we'll be able to back them up, hopefully.
When you come into this season, this is one of the younger teams you've had in a while, isn't it?
Yeah. It seems like sometimes we have a core that's always comes up through. But right now our cores are going to be junior heavy. Some of them got some experience coming in. Some of them don't. But just going from JV to varsity and working with the guys in the past that they become ready as they get older. And so we're going to be younger, but we do have some experience coming up and hopefully it continues.
How do you take this and especially with these younger guys, how well does the fall prepare you for that spring push, especially when you got so many young guys coming into the program?
This fall just gets your feet wet, get some varsity experience, gets to know how we play, how we do things. And so when they're able to perform in the fall, it can carry over to the spring. And I know in the fall we don't play as big as schools because they just don't have fall ball, but just getting that experience here in the fall just helps them out tremendously as we get into our spring schedule of some big class 4, 5, and 6 all up and down the board. So getting that experience is big.
Coach, I remember that. I think you went over, was it 2 years ago, and went over and played in the Columbia tournament. And when I saw that, I was like, my goodness, that's some big britches right there. Why do you do stuff like that?
And just to see that more, those bigger schools that just have more athletes, better or not better pitching, but just more pitching, guys that throw mid upper 80s that we could face. And luckily that year we did. And I think when we played Hickman, they threw 3 guys that were sitting around 89 to 91. And come quarterfinal, we faced, I cannot remember his name, from Wellington Napoleon, but he was throwing 91 to 93. And I think just seeing that for 5 games helped us in the long run. And so we try to load up our schedule to see that good pitching, and our hitters like it. Teams seem to throw slower than 78. We kind of struggle a little bit, but that faster pitching is what we like to see.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because, when you do get in the state playoffs, usually there's a guy, right, that you're going to have to face. And I think that's smart.
Yeah. Everyone's got a guy that can throw anywhere from upper 70s to low mid 80s. And so And here in the past, teams have been trying to save them for us, and when we play guys like that all year round, it helps.
Yeah, everybody wants to beat St. Louis. That's a
Mm-hmm.
feather in the cap, Coach.
Yeah.
It's that big target.
Mm-hmm. We're going to get everyone's best every night, and so we have to prepare.
I just found this out because we had this conversation with Coach Hughes. So I am traveling down on Friday. It's the best I can do, but because I just found this out, you guys are going to be in Springfield for the opening weekend. You got Purdy and Silo, Oklahoma. That's on Saturday, correct?
Yeah, the 29th. Yep, we're
Yeah.
going down there to play them.
That's quite an opening weekend.
Yeah, we've been trying to find some games to play because everyone around us getting football now. We've kind of lost some fall games, and when I heard about this one, I was like, I might as well see if we can get in it, get some good competition, and just have some fun because we ended there in the spring. Like to start there and end there this year. So just to get down there, get a few games in, and get us ready.
Well, Coach, I doubt nothing you guys do. You seem to be able to put together quality athletes and quality baseball. Good luck to you. I'm hoping that we can get you on during the fall season. We'll try and catch up with you a little bit more as we head to the spring season as well, and keep up because it sure was. I got to see. I know I didn't. I know it's not the way you wanted it to end, but I did get to see the championship game last year, and hopefully we can cover a little bit more. That's our goal, and be down there for that state championship for Class 1 and 2. I love the fact that we're looking at doing more fall ball this year, and that's our goal. That's our goal, and want to get some more live streaming and our opportunities that way in the fall because I think you guys deserve it.
Thank you. Yeah, it would be great to get the coverage, especially in the fall. A bunch of guys that don't ever get to see it, so it'd be nice.
Absolutely. I appreciate you taking the time today, Coach.
Yep, no problem. Thank you.
And looking forward to it. Folks, Caleb Heckemeyer, he is the head coach of the powerhouse St. Elizabeth Hornets. I'm going to throw that target a little bit bigger on your back, Coach.
Yeah, it's pretty big already.
All right. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Coach Heckemeyer, appreciate him taking the time to chat it up with us on the show here. You can tell the tradition of the program. These guys have been just fantastic for the last 10 years. Talent-wise, it'll be interesting to see how they continue, but it looks like they're going to be another solid. We'll see. We're going to see them down there again this weekend. So I'm looking forward to it. And here's some other teams, Leopold, Atlanta, I think are going to be tough. I'm looking forward to seeing them in the fall here to see what they can do. Here's one for you. Risco, R2 district. We got Coach sent in through the poll. I love that, learning more about some of these smaller schools. Braden Cartiller, shortstop and pitcher, senior. And then they got a couple of juniors in Jax Brannon, who's a pitcher, plays shortstop, center field, plays pretty much everywhere. And Will Bunting to kind of bolster this team. 9-7 in the spring last year was Risco. So it'll be interesting to see how they do in the fall. South Iron, always right there, 13-7 in the spring. We'll see what they can bring back to the fall season. Sturgeon is another one I'm very interested in. 15-9 in the spring, made a run. It'll be interesting to see how they come out of this. Pilot Grove at 13-10. New Franklin's another one at 12-7 in the spring. And we had a chance to get some information from the coach there at New Franklin. They got the senior pitcher utility Josh Marshall, along with some really strong underclassmen, a sophomore, Easton Girding. He's a pitcher utility guy. Jonah Bishop, a junior, another pitcher. And you see all these guys. They got some depth at pitching here with Ryder Hopkins as well. And another junior, Caleb Cox, first baseman, outfield. So New Franklin returning some of those guys off that 12-7 record. So that one will be one to watch as well. Norwood at 14-11. Wheaton went 13-13 in the spring. Billings 12-12. Billings has had some history there. Lakeland, the Vikings, with the 13-11 record in the spring. So as we head into the fall season with Class 1 here, it'll be interesting to see how that comes up. St. Elizabeth, Wheatland, Cooter, Leopold, Atlanta at 23-3 in the spring. Did they lose a lot of guys? I haven't heard yet. I'm hoping to find out. We're going to keep that up to speed as well. So that's what we're looking at there for Class 1 as we head into that. And we're going to see, again, St. Elizabeth this weekend down there in Ozark. Class 2, we had a chance to sit down with Josh Hughes. He's the head coach of the Purdy Eagles. I met Coach Hughes briefly when we were down in Lake of the Ozarks recording or doing the live stream for the Missouri High School Baseball Coaches Association Awards Banquet. If you get a chance, go do that because it was the Hall of Fame speeches. I know Ben Bear inducted, Rob Struckoff, Francis Borgia. Ben Bear retired. Blue Springs went out with back-to-back state championships. Kudos to him. And I'm missing a coach, and that's what's terrible. I hate that. I shouldn't have started that down that road. But go watch. They're great speeches. It's a lot of fun. Appreciate you doing that. But Coach Hughes, let's roll the tape. All right, folks, we're joined here by the head coach of the Purdy Eagles, Class 2, Joshua Hughes. I've got them, in our fall rankings at number 1 in Class 2. Coach, first I want to ask you or say hello and thank you for joining us today.
We appreciate the invite and appreciate an opportunity to talk about our kids and the game of baseball.
We met briefly at the last the awards ceremony, and first time I got a chance to meet you, and appreciate you taking the time. Really, it's for us. Our goal is to be comprehensive in our coverage, and we don't get to see the smaller classes as much.
Yeah, I mean used to when I first started, there was newspaper coverage of even the small schools, but now with all the stuff going on with newspapers, it's nice to have guys like you that wants to cover us little guys, and sometimes we get lost down in the corner of the state, and so yeah, we do appreciate all you're doing and covering us small schools.
We saw fall ball last year, and I really didn't know the scope of it, but fall ball's pretty big in the state, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice to get that opportunity to play. I'm starting year 22 at Purdy, and we've had fall baseball here since I started. You get an opportunity to kind of see where your guys are, and there's a lot of things I like about it. But one of the things I really like is at the end of your sophomore year, you've played 4 seasons of high school baseball. I mean, you played almost as many games as a senior at a school that don't have fall baseball.
Experience-wise, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So that answers kind of the first question: why play fall baseball, especially with a small school? The scheduling, that seems like a no-brainer, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have football, so just from the side of our district, our boys don't have an opportunity to do anything if it wasn't for fall baseball. So of course we have basketball in the winter and then spring baseball and stuff, but it's awesome to to have that opportunity and to do it. And I know, I mean, you've kind of with your list of your rankings and stuff, there's some really good teams that play fall baseball in the state of Missouri, and teams that are going to go on and possibly be state contenders. I know the last few years Licking's had a really good spring seasons, and their fall baseball team, and St. Elizabeth, and you could just name them. Iberia a few years back, went on that undefeated roll and won a state title in Class 2, and they play fall baseball. So I think it's a huge benefit to get out and have those practices for pretty much August, September, and some of October, and then also get to play 15 to 20 games.
You did you won 12 games in 23, 18 games in 24, and last year in the fall 22 games. That, to me, that's a huge. You just ran into Miller the last couple of years in the spring. That's been the biggest thing.
Yeah, I mean that is a big thing. They're really good. But yeah, I mean, we graduated a huge senior class in the spring of 23, and then coming into that fall of 23 and 24 school year, we started a lot of young kids, freshmen and sophomores. And you could see kind of with our wins, they increased as those kids matured and got older and got better, and we got to the point that last year and hopefully this year we're upper class heavy, and and playing any sport, the juniors and seniors are a little bit more mature, a little bit more physical, and I kind of contribute that increase in wins over the last few years is just being more mature and older and stronger.
Makes a difference. Top returning senior. Excuse me, my mouth quit working for a moment.
Yep.
Hunter Wormington, Brennan Hawkins, Jackson Lee, Alex Stubblefield. This is a group it looks like you're going to be depending on quite a bit, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And 3 of the 4 pitch for us also, and they're probably looking at 1 through 4, maybe 5 in the lineup. Also, top of the order type guys, and play some key positions. So it's the senior class. They've most of them have played since they were freshmen and sophomores. So they've got a lot of experience and great leaders on and off the field. Good Christian young men, and do a lot of things for our community and our school district other than just baseball. With organizations and FFA, FBLA, things like that. So, not only are they good baseball players, they're just great young men. Really looking forward to seeing them, kind of get out on the field and have that senior year that I think all 4 expect. We expect it, and kind of just get an opportunity to see them do their thing.
I love what I see here with you got Brennan Hawkins, Jackson Lee, and then your junior Daniel. I think it's Aldaba, the shortstop. You look pretty solid up the middle there, Coach.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, it's been solid the last few years, and it's with Daniel started as a freshman, Jackson as a sophomore, and Brennan as a sophomore. So they've had some times where they've made some mistakes and lumps, and they're the great thing is they're so coachable and willing to learn from it. I mean, if you got a little pop fly or ground ball, a routine out should be an out for us, and that's kind of one of our we put our our hat on is we want to make the routine plays, and those 3 guys do a great job up the middle.
I got to ask you that big spot behind the plate. Who's going to be directing that from behind the plate, the catching position?
We've got a couple options. We've got a junior, Dalton Stanford, has kind of accepted that role as a sophomore last year and in the JV and got better. Went and played this summer, with the U.S. Nationals out of Springfield and caught most of the time. And you can see the work he's put in has really helped him. He still's got some things to learn, and we got a couple other guys that can do it. Grady McHuron, Quentin Dotson. Xander Dotson. We got some guys that are in the mix. It's kind of it's a position that is questionable right now, but right now we're going to give Dalton the opportunity, and it's his to keep if he earns it. But we do have other options if an injury or something happens. But we're looking forward to seeing how much he can improve. From the first day of practice till springtime. It's right now. Is it important? Absolutely, but it's not as important as come springtime and district playoffs and stuff like that.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Coach, we've talked about this, of course, these young guys. Who are some of the kids that we don't have listed here that you'd like to talk a little bit about and how they make an impact for your team this year?
Well, and I mentioned Grady in the opportunity of maybe being a catcher. I would like to stay away from that because I feel like Grady's going to be huge for us on the mound. And at third base and shortstop when Daniel's on the mound, possibly. And so, to save his legs, I'd like to keep him out from behind the plate because, it just helps him and helps us when he's on the mound. And he's a heck of a third baseman too. Has a little bit of pop in his bat and can swing it. So, if we can keep him healthy, that's huge. We've got a kind of battle with some of our JV guys from last year fighting for that third outfield spot. Right now, Quentin Dotson is a sophomore. He was all-state as a freshman, had a heck of a year last year for us, played right field, is a natural infielder, grew up playing infield, but we wanted to get his bat in the lineup, and it just worked out in right field. We'd like to maybe move him back to the infield, but right now he's dealing with a little small injury, and so he's able to swing it, but not able to play defense right now. And so we've got guys like Hayden Patton Jr., Dylan Lopez is a sophomore, Silas Walker is a sophomore. That those three guys are kind of fighting for some playing time, whether it's on the infield or outfield. And then we've got a pretty good freshman class that are working. They're working hard. Bryson Terry and Brody Osmond and with a couple other freshmen that are just working really hard and they're not ready yet, but I could see it happening sooner than later. So, we've got we got 19 kids out and we've got a good group of returners. And then we also have a good group of guys that are kind of fighting for those last couple spots.
I love that. 19 kids in class 2. That's a good number. That is a really good number. Coach, before I let you go, I got to give one shout out to the junior Grady Mehurin, 14U. As everybody knows, Game 7 Baseball, we're partners with them. We've been doing this for the last few years. Grady was part of a championship game for Game 7 when he was with the Bulls as a 14U. In the championship game, shout out to Grady, he was our player of the game for the Bulls. They fell short in the championship game, but he was our player of the game for there. Outstanding young man. Seen a lot of these kids, and it's always cool when I see that. I see this kid that we saw at 14U now in high school having success. I love to see it.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome that you mentioned that. Hunter Wormington and Daniel Aldaba played on that same team. You probably saw them play and maybe didn't recognize or realize that, but and at that time they were actually coached by one of my old assistants, which would be Daniel's older brother, and prior to that they were coached by a really good friend of mine, Ty Gates. So they've been coached very well in their youth. So it's nice to have that youth come up and have success at the high school level.
Absolutely. Aldaba, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That name's. It's tough, Coach. We see a lot of folks.
Yeah. But no, absolutely.
As you mentioned that, so I am so excited to see these kids and see what they can do. We're working hard to put together maybe a championship game for this fall. If we don't get to do that, we're going to work towards working for a championship in the fall as we move forward with the Missouri High School Baseball Coach Association.
So, yeah, no, that's awesome. I've, Brian Harmon. He and I are really good buddies and coaching buddies, and then even friends off the field. And we've had conversations about it, and it's just one more opportunity to showcase our kids, and that's what it's about. Coach Harmon, myself, and all the other coaches in the association. It's not about us. It's about these kids and this opportunity to give them, to give them that chance or to play on a field that they maybe never played on or never will ever get to. So, or in that type of game.
Yeah.
So we do appreciate that you're behind that with us. So
we want to work toward it. Coach Hughes, folks, team to watch not only this fall but in the spring. Coach Hughes, appreciate you taking the time today.
Well, we appreciate you and all you do for baseball in the state.
Coach Joshua Hughes, Purdy Eagles. Appreciate Coach Hughes. Looking forward to seeing him this weekend as well. Friday going down and getting caught up with some and watching these teams play. I think that's a huge part of it too, folks, is getting down and able to see these teams play. You can see these kids on the field, athletic. What do they look like? How well do they play the game? I mean, it's one thing to see a team on paper, but it is a completely different thing to see see a team on the field, and that's just the way it is. So I got to do it again. Big shout out, Grady Mahurin, one of the Player of the Game award recipients for a Game 7 event that the Bulls, his summer team, played in when he was 14. It's great to see these kids, and we'll see some other ones, as you heard Coach, Daniel Aldava, who, Quentin Dodson. I'm looking forward to this, seeing these kids again, Hunter Wormington, and how well they're growing. Class 2, again, we had Purdy at the top. I think they're going to be really tough to beat. Fordland, I think I'm looking forward to seeing what they have. Gainesville, East Carter, another one. Who are the teams that are going to, I think, challenge Purdy? And one of them, in my opinion, folks, and we saw a lot of these kids play in the state championship, the Missouri American Legion Baseball state championships there. They played on the St. Jen team, but this Valley Catholic team, they're not playing in the fall, or else they would probably be number 2 right behind Purdy. I'm not so sure. I think those are the 2 top teams right now going into the spring. When you see Colby Balsler or Bassler, Evan Fowler, Evan Viox, Caden Williams, Colton Coots, Trevor Bassler, Andrew Shilley, Lane Cole. I mean, this team is loaded. And then they got some underclassmen in Colton Fowler, Harper Drury, Jaden Barron. This team, Valley Catholic, is poised. I think they should. They're definitely a Final Four contender. This is a team that, of course, anything can happen. You get injuries, this, that. But right now, Purdy and Valley Catholic, mercy, Class 2 is going to be brutally good that way with those teams. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Gainesville's another one coming off the spring at 22-5. We don't have a lot of information just yet. Fordland the same way, 23-8. East Carter, they graduated Brady Smith. I know they have the younger Smith coming in to play there, but we're hoping to get a little bit more information about East Carter. They are playing in the fall, so that's going to be fun to follow that. Neelyville, 21-6-1. I'm hoping to see that. Holcomb, 15-9 in the spring. Van Buren, 15-11. Alton, 18-9. Bernie, always been around. We've seen them 15-13-1. They're playing in the fall. Looking forward to seeing what they have. Greenville at 13-8. Iberia is just not too far removed from an undefeated season in the state championship. They were 14-8 in the spring. We're going to get to see Iberia. That's another team. Class 2 is going to be down in Ozark. Looking forward to seeing Coach Vincent down there and getting some information, seeing how they look. New Bloomfield at 11-9. Hartville coming off a 16-4 season in the spring. It'll be interesting to see how well they perform here in the fall. So we got some pretty good stuff here for Class 2. I like Crocker, 23-9. I think let me see if we did we get some Crocker information? I don't think so yet. But when you look at the just looking at some of the all-state kids from what's coming back, you see some of these juniors. Gainesville, they graduated some guys. Portageville has a junior, but they're not playing in the fall. Crocker has a sophomore catcher in Drew Friesmeyer that was first team All-State. Folks, when you're bringing back a catcher like that, it's impressive. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have there. You have, let's see, Gainesville graduated some seniors, and so did East Carter. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. You have the freshman, Quentin Dodson was second team All-State as a freshman. You've got, let's see, Fordland, that's a senior. And it'll be interesting here as we go through this, and we're just looking at what we have there. Alton as a sophomore, honorable mention, DH utility. In Jaron Holsapple. There's an interesting name. Look at that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we got there, and certainly not last, and definitely not least, the Licking Wildcats. Coach Cole Rourke. We met Coach Rourke at the state championships last year, as they were in the Final Four. Blair Oaks was really dominant, and they were on a hot streak. But I'll tell you what, Trent Wood, Jason Ingram returning. We had a chance to talk with Coach Rourke. Let's roll the tape. Hello, folks. All right, we have with us on the show now the head coach from the Licking Wildcats, Cole Rourke. Coach, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Got to start with congratulations on the Final Four finish last year. Enjoyed watching you guys down there. Talk to us about a little bit of the tradition of Licking. You guys have been pretty good for a while. You know, when you come into these situations, you come into a season, how do you set those expectations for these kids?
Yeah, so we have the benefit of a long-standing tradition at Licking, back to Coach Hagler, probably easily one of the best to ever do it, quantifiably one of the best to ever do it, and, just a great guy that's still around and loves to, come see our guys. And so we get to talk about that. And before we won a title in 23, there was a pretty good drought in the middle of that. So Coach Hagler, his first year was 80, and I think they won 13 out of 15 districts and 5 Final Four appearances and 2 state titles. And, I mean, they were just awesome. And then he went on to Hillcrest, and they kept it going there in the 90s a little bit. Picked up a couple more Final Fours, I think one in 95 and 03. And so 03 kind of started the drought. That was the last year that we won a district until 2023. So when Coach Antel and I, another one of the best to ever do it, Hall of Famer, we came in same year, 2016, 2017 school year, and we had this kind of monkey on our back. It hadn't been done in so long. And so in 23, when we broke through, that's kind of started our most recent streak. But now that's part of every year. We look back, and it's not to put those guys on a pedestal or say, man, they were just so good, especially because you can't, because a lot of them still live in our community. We don't want to give them too much credit. The stories get a little bigger every alumni game. But we do want to honor those guys and say, why not us? What's different about them than us? Nothing. A big part of our conversation last year, we were, just so young, had a ton of sophomores, only 2 seniors, but they'd seen it done. They'd seen it as they were junior high kids coming up. Our seniors had been a part of it as freshmen. They knew what that kind of looked like. So we talked about it being our 75th opportunity since Misha had baseball. Of course, it was their 100th year anniversary last year, and we lost one spring to COVID. So worked out. It was 75 opportunities to win a title. We'd done it 3 times. Let's see what we can do to make it a 4th. Here's how rare it is to get out of your district. Here's how rare it is to get through the sectional, the quarterfinal, and then on to the Final Four. So it was very much a discussion from August when we started our fall practice last year. And it's not, I don't think, it's pretty rare. It's a scarce thing when you can openly and honestly have a conversation about we have the ability to be a Final Four team. Nothing's guaranteed, but we can do this, and this is what stands in our way. And it helped quite a bit that we'd been had a little bit of heartbreak the year before, where Fairgrove got us at home in the sectional, and went on to play, and we got to watch those guys, and we felt like we were right there. It was a one-run game, and it was big. So that conversation was easy last year. This year, uncharted territory. I don't think we've really been in a situation where there's really high expectations because you bring this many guys back, and you were so young. And so I think the conversation is a lot more about, hey, yes, all of those things apply. We've also got to enjoy where we're at and enjoy the process and understand the work we had to put in, and we should go about that with a joyful mindset. I'm really excited. I like how our guys have come out this fall, and hopefully we can stay healthy and play good baseball, and really just enjoy it for what it is, which is it's an awesome experience when you're good, and I think we're going to be pretty good.
You guys play in the Frisco Conference, and from what I understand, history-wise, there's no football in that conference, correct?
Correct, yep. I think a couple dabbles back in the day, but as a conference, no.
So fall baseball, it's interesting you're bringing this up. I think there's an advantage in this, especially with such a young team, and just what you explained. I think it's a fascinating thought process when you talk about giving these kids that opportunity to play in the fall and kind of get rid of that, like, maybe edginess or feeling of, man, how's this going to go? And you get that play under your belt. You're playing with everybody. So you go in the spring, you go, okay, we know who we are and what to do. Does that make sense, Coach?
Absolutely. And probably the biggest thing from the coaching side, my kids might disagree with me, but practice is so essential because you're stacking those up in the fall. So we get to put in all the slower stuff, our bunties and first and thirds, rundowns, and we can take care of that in the fall. And then it's kind of old hat because you're running it through 20 games. So then we can spend a lot more time, with our live at bats. We can spend time with catchers who famously get neglected at the high school level because you only have so many guys to work with them. So we can do some different things because our timeline's so extended. So yeah, it's a huge advantage. Not to mention, Misha, they'll allow you to schedule 36. I don't know anybody that can get there in the fall. We usually have about 24, 25 on the schedule. I think we played 24 last fall. So yeah, it's big. It's irreplaceable.
Yeah, that's tough to do in 5 weeks, right?
Yeah, it's tight.
Mercy. So let's get into this. You have just, I think, is it one senior this year? Is that correct?
One senior this year. Yep.
And wow, that blows me away. And when people hear that, you think you were in the Final Four last year, and like you said, it was a lot of sophomores. So let's talk a little bit about Conway. Is it Addy?
It's 80.
80.
Yep, Conway 80. So, Conway is man. He is about as rural of a kid as you would think of. Like, that dude hunts and fishes, and he finds a way to be in the woods all the time. So he brings that. I don't know. I don't even know what you'd call it. I don't have a good name for it yet. But that guy likes to work too. I mean, it's play hard. It's work hard, and so he's a leader for us. Maybe not in the traditional way. He's probably not breaking down the huddle or doing those things, but you know where he's at. He's going to give you his best all the time. He didn't hit quite as well as we thought he might in the spring last year, and he'd be the first guy to tell you. He hit about 380 in the fall, and then pretty good fall down in the spring. So we're trying to iron some things out and get him going. But he's real tall and lanky. He eats some innings for us on the mound. He'll do anything you ask of him. So we're excited for his senior year and hope it comes together for him a little bit.
Couple of young guys You had some all-state guys as sophomores, a pitcher, Trent Wood, and I think this is the most important thing, personally, Coach, and you mentioned it, the neglect of catchers, but you got an all-state behind the plate, and as a sophomore, that's huge. And to me, when you have that guy and you can settle that, you're like, cool, I think that's a huge advantage with Jason Ingram.
100%. I mean, it's so big. In 23, so call back there, we had Malachi Antel behind the plate, and I think he was a couple-time All-Stater at least, and I mean, just tremendous. But one of the best things about Malachi was I was able to kind of free him up, and he called his own game. Jason Ingram, our catcher now, he also calls his own game, which he convinced me of. I wasn't going to do that out of the gate, but pretty quickly into his freshman year, kind of freed him up, and that left me free to do some other things, and he's been tremendous with that. So, you cannot replace a catcher very easily whenever you have to. Everything changes, but he's a really good catch and throw guy. He hits, and he's a warrior. I mean, he'd be back there, anytime. He's going to be a great get for somebody at the next level because he's that true guy you're looking for. He's a grinder. He loves to put the work in. So we're excited for Jason, absolutely. And then Trent Wood that you mentioned, probably not your poster boy all-state pitcher. I mean, the guy doesn't throw real hard. He's not real flashy. He just gets the job done. He's the guy that you look up in the fifth inning and you're like, how do we have one run? I mean, this guy he's just beating us up. And he threw a complete game loss to Fatima, went 7 innings on about 64 pitches. We lost 1-0 in that game. So he's just that guy, true bulldog, which gets thrown around too much, I think, but that guy is. I mean, he's going to go at you with what he's got. You're going to have to beat him. He's not going to beat himself. He controls the running game. So a tremendous leader for us. And again, just a junior. So we got a couple more years of that guy.
Jeez. Coach, talk to us about up the middle. Who's anchoring the middle infield and your center field?
Yeah, so we graduated our shortstop, Carson Walker. Tremendous, I mean, unbelievable year. Basketball, track, just a great athlete. So we're going to miss him. And he was our shortstop even as a freshman some. So he kind of split time there and then stepped in, was our leadoff hitter. So we've got a sophomore trying to jump in and hold the fort down at short, who didn't get a ton of run last year, but he has put in a lot of work this summer. He looks really good right now. We're excited there. Our second baseman is a returner, Easton Stoops. He hit in the 2-hole for us most of the year last year, which was a tough gig because Carson had between the fall and spring like 85 stolen bases. So he was taking some pitches, and sometimes we'd get to second, bunt him over to third. So we're looking for Easton to have a breakout year. And then our center fielder, Jet Sullins, I think is the best go-get-it guy, maybe in Class 3. I mean, just really gets it done. He was our team's defensive player of the year last year, and he'll take some hits away. And, we can do a lot of things with that guy and his wheels. And he hits a little bit too. He had 5 homers last year. We think he'll hit some more. So really exciting up the middle of the defense there.
I love that. Who's the young man that's coming into play shortstop? Name?
Logan Kuhn.
Logan Kuhn. Oh, yeah. Okay. I always look to see the names and whatnot because it gives us one of the things that we're looking to do, and we hope to continue to grow our commitment to covering the smaller schools, is getting to know these kids, give them some love, man. There's so much good baseball all over this state. And then, it's kind of funny, you're talking about Conway 80, in the woods, whatnot, and then all of a sudden he's in the big leagues, and that's what he does. These guys always hunting, fishing. You hear about those guys, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You're like, where'd that kid come from? He's some small town in Missouri.
Straight out of the deer stand. That's where he came from.
Exactly. Coach, I appreciate you taking the time today. It is a pleasure, and we're going to be at Ozark Mountain Sports Complex on Friday, where I will be. Going to cover a little bit of that. chat up some players. Hopefully we'll be able to see some good baseball. I'm sure we will with what's going on down there.
Yeah, it's always a blast. That Silo, Oklahoma game, first one out, that's a big one. I mean, they play, and there'll be about 12 games in. So that's been an uphill slope. I think we're about 1-6, 1-7 against them all time. So we're looking to get one back this fall.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Coach. Everybody, head coach Cole Rourke, Licking Wildcats. Going to be a tough one to beat, folks. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
I appreciate Coach Rourke taking the time. And as you can see, this is one of the few Class 3 schools playing in the fall. They're in the Frisco Conference, which doesn't have football. So as far as Class 3 is concerned, like I said, West County, the Bulldogs down in Southeast Missouri, I'm looking forward to that. 18-8. West County had a pretty good run. I thought they were another team that's consistently right there in the mix. Be interesting to see how they come out in the fall. We're hoping to get some more information from the coaches there at West County, and looking forward to hearing that. And then we have, let me get back to it. Sorry, folks. Arcadia Valley, 12-15. They got some guys. It'll be interesting to see what Arcadia Valley does there. You got Bourbon, Dixon. Dixon was 16-9 coming off the spring. Coach Rourke, said they look pretty good. You got Southwest Washburn coming off a 6-17 record, but has some guys. Conway 18-12 coming off the spring. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we have with this Class 3 and how does that work. We've got some questions that we've got to consider and how these things play out. If you run a state championship, we're definitely going to wait till I know there's some classifications. I think that will be coming out from Misha. They do that. There's no sanctioned state championship from Misha in the fall for baseball. So that's why we're looking to do this, because I think it's great for these schools. I know they're playing, not some of these schools don't end up playing in the spring. And so it'll be interesting to see what we can do. And we're looking forward to working with Coach Harmon from the association and the coaches there and all the coaches throughout these small schools and what we can accomplish as we cover baseball here in the fall. It's something that we're excited about, and I appreciate Coach Rourke, Coach Hughes, Coach Heckemeyer for taking their time. Coach Mathis, hopefully we're looking forward to talking to you. We'll get down and hopefully we'll get a game in with Cooter and see what gives and what we can do. So we're excited about the upcoming fall. Our initial press box show here for the 2026 fall season. We're excited for it. Tune in each week. We're going to be bringing you up to date. We're going to keep you up to date on what's going on, our rankings, and getting to know more of these schools as we move along through the fall. So we're excited about it. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, you can follow us on social media, X, YBM Cast, YBM_cast, at Youth Baseball Midwest on IG, Facebook, TikTok. Appreciate, big shout out to our continuing partners in Game 7 Baseball, Game7Baseball.com. Make sure you're loaded up for the fall. We got some great stuff coming up. We'll be talking about that as we move through. Everybody have a great day in the Lord, and hey, we'll see you at the ballpark.